Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Cartwright for holding this important hearing. And Madam Secretary, thank you for joining us today and for your service and that of your staff. We interact often with them, and the whole operation has been incredibly professional and very helpful. I want to talk briefly about regional tech hubs and appreciate, again, your leadership in the space, which has been extraordinary. But if you could just help articulate, my hope is that we will find ways to have robust, consistent, predictable funding for the Regional Tech Hub program over the next, decade. It seems to me that's important not only to aid those areas we're going to invest in, but also to attract private capital, something obviously you know a great deal about. I wonder if you could just talk about, from the perspective of both achieving the mission and attracting private capital to many of these communities, why that robust, consistent funding is important, predictability.
Thank you, Congressman. I have to say, I can't believe I've gone this far in a hearing without someone asking about tech hubs, and here's why. In my entire time in government, I've never seen a more popular program on a bipartisan basis in rural communities, and, it's unbelievable to me. It's a great program that you created and authorized. We have 400 applications worth of asking for about $2 billion. We will have the money to make, a half a dozen tech hub investments of size, $30, $40 million. So I wish we could, we've identified, of the 400, we identified 31 that we thought were really the best. Every single one of those is worthy of funding, but due to the funding constraints in EDA, we'll do like 6 to 10-ish investments. This is necessary for our national security. I mean, I can do everything possible in the world with Bureau of Industry and Security to deny China. The way we will beat China is by out-innovating China. And that means tapping into the technology, resources, and talent in every nook and cranny of America, including, by the way, Chairman Rogers, in coal country and in rural country. I mean, Kentucky has a great tech hub proposal. I don't have them all memorized, but in all of your districts, your states have put in great tech hub programs. Silicon Valley, Boston, New York City don't have a monopoly on great talent, great ideas, and great technology. And the whole point of tech hubs is to get outside of those communities and consistently fund innovation in America to make us stronger, to outcompete the world. So the budget asks for additional funding for that. I respectfully request that additional funding. It'll make America stronger in every way possible.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not sure if I get points for being the first person to ask, but if you want to add points to my ledger, that'd be great. I wanted to turn quickly to AI. We've talked about it a fair amount. I actually have introduced legislation which would prohibit the disclosure of non-consensual AI deepfake in pornography, which, as it turns out, and this is really troubling, 96% of deepfakes online are pornographic or intimate in nature. But what I really appreciate about the AI Safety Institute and NIST is I believe part of this is to look at content authenticity detection, which is really important, so people can be, certain or have some degree of confidence that what they're looking at actually is real and hasn't been adapted or faked in some way. Could you just talk a little bit about what you anticipate or what you envision NIST doing to be able to identify that?
Yeah, thank you for your legislation. It is really scary and unbelievable to see some of these deep fakes. I'm sure you guys have seen them. So what we're going to do in the budget request for NIST is a couple things. One, develop the science to be able to identify what is authentic versus what is AI generated. But two, I think we need to get to a place where and we'll need Congress's help to do this, where we require companies to identify, is this AI generated content or is it real content? And they'll do that by some process of watermarking. And what we're going to have to do at NIST is figure out what's adequate watermarking,
Yeah.
so that it's all about trust. You know, AI is exciting. We can cure cancer faster, create medicine faster, but people have to trust it. And so we're going to develop standards around synthetic content and watermarking so that an individual, when they see it, will know, is it fake or is it real? And that if it's watermarked, fake or real, they can trust in that watermark.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I know my time is up, but I'd also say we need to think about the data sets used to train AI models, and I don't think there's enough conversation around that. I'd love to interact with your staff and just give additional thoughts to that. But, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I yield back.